Family, this is breaking news out of Atlanta, Georgia. Nature Boy, aka Elijah Bishop, aka Nature Boy, has been found guilty on all charges. It's a real nigga moment.
Count 1 was count 1 right. Guilty. And count 2, false imprisonment. Guilty. Count 3, prohibition on use or sexually explicit electronic transmissions. Guilty. Count 4, prohibition on use or sexually explicit electronic transmissions. Guilty.
I think I'm up now. Yay. Hey, Lynette. Hey, BB. King Birdie, I see you. Hey, Aaron. Jazzy, Kim. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, Janae. Yay. Okay. This was my first time going live on YouTube, so I didn't realize like all the steps that that you got to go through. And so the whole time I'm like trying to talk, but I'm like, nobody can hear me. But I figured it out. Hey, Kenzie, the Gray family, Kiki. Okay, everybody's here. We all here. Well, thank you guys for coming. This is my first live here, obviously. And I'm super excited. Like, I kind of been wanting to do this for a long time, but I think I was talking myself out of it. But I think like after hearing feedback from the trial, I guess I just will say a little background for anyone who's listening. I know everyone probably in the chat know me, but if you're listening to this and you're like, who is this person? My name is Kendra, and I'm a mother. I am married to that handsome man in the chat, Aaron Dixon, and I am from Washington State. Yeah. I mean, yeah, what else you want to know? Like, no, just kidding. But yeah, so, and I'm doing this channel specifically because I was in a cult for 5 years. The cult is called Carbonation. And the cult leader that ran the cult, his name is Eligo Bishop. And he recently was on trial. The trial was last month, and it was the state of Georgia versus Eligo Bishop. And he was found guilty on all charges. I testified in that trial as a witness. And I got a lot of feedback on my testimony. I got a lot of feedback on the impact statement that I made at the end of the trial before sentencing. And I felt like I'm glad that it impacted people in the way that it did. I didn't know that it would. It really always just spoke from my heart when it came to this situation. And it seems as though people really enjoy, or I don't know if that's the best word, but people really appreciate, I should say, my perspective and what I've learned, and just like where I'm coming from, just like me, people really appreciate it. And I really, really appreciate everyone's support. Thank you to everybody that's here listening. I appreciate you, King Birdie. I appreciate you, Cacao. Oh, I don't know why I want to call you Cacao, but it's clearly Coco. Hey, Medea, I see you. Yes. And so when I heard about, people like it just transforming people in the way that it did, I just knew that, I didn't want to just keep what I've learned to myself. Also, a very major thing that made me want to start this channel is destructive cults are ever present. They're not going anywhere. I had briefly spoke to Rick Allen Ross, who is a cult expert that also testified in the trial of the state of Georgia versus Eligo Bishop. And I got the opportunity to talk to him, and he told me that it's people like me, it's people like Janae, it's people like Aaron, it's people like every former member of Carbonation that has spoken out. It's people like us that really put an end to these destructive cult leaders like Bishop. And when he said that, I was like, dang, like, I felt the pressure, but I also felt empowered because I know that I don't want anyone to experience what I experienced in that cult. And I know that people experience those things every day in other cults. People have experienced far more in many cults and have put them, have gotten into some situations that it's just very hard to get out of, or people do not make it out. And so I feel just like this is a need. This is a need. It is necessary. And it's so funny because Bishop always told his followers, when I was present in Carbonation, he always told us, if you leave, just keep my name out your mouth. Don't say nothing. Don't talk about me. Just go on and live your life, because just saying all these things, even though he really didn't want anyone to leave and really put in a stop or try to coerce people to stay all the time. But he would always say that. There's even a video of multiple members attempting to leave and him putting the camera in their face on live video and saying, if you leave, take down my social media. Don't be on my social media talking about me. And he would always try to silence us. But just like Aaron said in the chat, I will not be silenced. We will not be silenced. That's what he wanted. That is always what he wanted. He wanted us to be silent. He wanted us to allow him to abuse people and mistreat and harm people and not say nothing about it. And I do not think that's not on my watch. What is that video the TV putting up? Shout out to the T. She be putting up that video every time. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. No, it's not going to happen. I'm going to speak my truth. Y'all are still, as far when I say y'all, I mean the members of Carbonation, the cult followers of Bishop, they're still recruiting. They're still baiting people in and trying to indoctrinate people. So, yeah, what? The counter narrative needs to be here. The counter narrative needs to be loud as the propaganda is. You're saying that you're out here living natural and living peaceful, but I spent 5 years in this cult and I know exactly what's going on. I know all the inner workings of this cult. I spent almost every day of those 5 years with Bishop in his presence. I know exactly what this man was doing. So what you can say this is about hurt feelings, but I ain't hurt. I ain't hurt. I'm real. I'm a real person that was really involved and really did believe and really was indoctrinated into this cult. And so when it comes down to it, I have every right to speak my truth about it. And I just, I will not be silenced. Exactly. Y'all are not on my watch, for real. I see y'all though. Yes, Medea, Jackson, Juju are recruiting every day. They are pulling people in for money. Exactly. And I think that's I understand that they don't realize what they're doing, but there are people who only hear what they're saying Like, I'm going to get into the interview that was done last night with the two ladies, Aya and Efru, people that just listen to what they are saying and they don't have any other narrative to go off of. And so they're like, oh, well, these ladies sound intelligent. They sound like they're fine. They look beautiful. So everything looks fine. It's great. So maybe he didn't do anything wrong. Maybe this is an injustice. Maybe all this stuff that, other people are saying, maybe it really isn't true. And I think that I have the opportunity to speak up and say, hey, no, because I know for a fact, well, I'm not going to say for a fact, but I know, I'm pretty sure that if things hadn't happened the way that they did, if I had not left that cult, I'd probably be sitting right next to them in that video saying the things they're saying. So, quite frankly, I'm going to call it out. And I took notes, y'all. I took notes. Y'all hear that? Notes. I don't know what the lady's name is that did the interview, but she was very soft spoken. She seemed like she might not had a lot of information about the cult, which I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people are busy. They have lives. They're doing things. When they come across these people, when people were coming across me when I was in the cult, and they didn't know me, they were just like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. She's out there living in nature. Okay, cool. Like, people don't really know what's going on unless they study it, or like, y'all in the chat, y'all been following for a while, or y'all have studied the behavior, or you've taken the time to critically analyze it. So, yes, her name. Okay, so her name is Slauson Girl Speaks. Okay, thanks, because I was trying to figure that out earlier. But I did see that the T is gonna stream it. So, and it's gonna be up on her page. So I'm not gonna play the video on here because, one, I don't even know how to do that. I'm not even gonna lie. Two, I just feel like I can get to the point without doing that. I don't want to be on here all day long. That part. But let me know while I'm doing this, y'all, if everything sounds good, if it sounds clear, if y'all can hear my little movements and stuff, if it's irritating, whatever. Like, just be like, hey, Kendra. I'm really, because I got the chat right here. And I'll make it do what it do. Absolutely, Jay. They said, let's be real, Efru and Aya are not doing interviews with anyone who is critical or going to ask real questions. And that's just a fact. Because, and we're going to get into that, about what separates, cult members, people who are believers in these cults, from people who are examining from the outside. These cult members are not critically thinking. And so they cannot be critically analyzed. They cannot be asked the tough questions because they run from things like that, because it's just, it's and they use the excuse of it's the lower self, it's the demons, it's trying to drag me down. But in reality, it's just this cult, this belief system does not stand up to scrutiny. And so we'll just act like it's, we'll either only talk to people who agree with us, or people who coddle us, people who enable us, or we just won't mess with you. We won't talk to you, and we'll just say you're a demon. So yeah, let's get right into it. Well, before I get into it, hey, I'll just see who else came up in here. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Kayela. I'm sorry. I'll just call you K. But Ja is great. He is fabulous. Hey, Mrs. Bennett. I'm good. I'm doing all right. This is my first live on YouTube, so it's a little different for me, but we're gonna make it happen. I'm good though. I've been like recovering because I got my wisdom teeth pulled, so I'm a little like coming back into my norm, I guess I should say. But let's get right into it. So the interview. There was an interview last night that now I already didn't forgot the girl's name or her Instagram handle. Slauson Girl Speaks, I believe it was. She interviewed Aya and Efru. And I just happened to come across this live on Medea's channel. Shout out to Medea. And I watched it. I started watching it as she was streaming it live. And something in me was just like, wait, go grab your notebook and your pencil. Because, I mean, not my pencil, my pen. Go grab your notebook and your pen because what they is saying, oh, no. You already know what this is because I've been studying cults and I've been studying Rick Alan Ross's book, Cults Inside and Out. And I studied Dr. Steve Hassan's book, Combating Cult Mind Control. I've learned a whole lot about cults. And so, like I said, if I was there, I'd be sitting right next to him. So I can like peep a lot of things. And I'm sure y'all can peep it just by, just off of peeping it. what you're hearing and what you're seeing, you're like, no, it ain't adding up to what I've seen before and what I've heard. And so, but I think that, something was telling me to take those notes because here we are, right? I'm talking about it. I had no plans of doing this before then, but like I said, there needs to be a counter narrative. And shout out to Lisa Says What, because she pushed me to get this mic and get this started. She was like, what you waiting for? So I appreciate her. Okay, so the interview started off with them basically introducing themselves. Aya starts off saying like, yes, Eligo Bishop is our husband. Interesting, because on the stand, in the trial, Aya does not say that Eligo Bishop is her husband. She said he is her friend. They are friends. I thought it was interesting that that she said Bishop is her husband. You see, when it comes to cult members, it's never consistent. I know for a fact when I was a cult member in this cult, you often had to shapeshift. You often had to say what was needed to be said in the moment. So on the stand, see, she didn't want to say it was her husband because she knew that would look weird. And she knew they would probably try to use that to open up the door of polygamy or whatever, what have you. But on this interview on Instagram, she calls Bishop her husband. And we're not even going to get into was y'all already know. If you don't know, Bishop is not legally married to Aya or Efru or any of the women that are still in his control. But he often uses that "you're my wife" thing to, yes, have some sort of dominance and control. But yeah, that was interesting. She calls him her husband off the bat. Efru starts talking about, oh, sorry, let me not skip that. The interviewer basically asks about, okay, so do people refer to you as a cult because of the polygamy thing? And because, when Aya called, said that this is our husband, he has been, falsely um basically sentenced in this trial, and he's been done wrong in the justice system, and da 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 da. And so the interviewer asked, well, are they referring to you guys as a cult because of polygamy? And Efru is like, well, I wouldn't really call it polygamy. Like, I just call it a family. Like, wait, hold on. It's not funny. I'm not saying verbatim what she said. I don't know if she exactly said that, but she definitely referred to it as a family when asked about polygamy and it being a cult. And I'm just like, but Aya just said that's her husband. So what's going on here? We see it, we know it, but it's like they don't know it. Of course they don't know it, but you're referring to it as a family. And I think the reason why she's referring to it as a family, because what else do you refer to? If you're in a cult, you have, like, most people, I think, that are in cults, they're not going to admit, like, we're in a cult. This is a cult. Although Bishop has said that a couple times. But they will refer to themselves as a family, a church, a organization, things like that. So she refers to it as a family because, come on, like, we all have a family. We can relate to a family. Oh, they're a family. That makes sense. That doesn't sound so bad. Okay. But then I thought, but doesn't he preach and practice polygamy live online? I really think that each and every live that is done, where a cult member, when I was in the cult, anybody that was in the cult, or when Bishop would go live, it was always about selling this idea. Like, we were salesmen for the so-called kingdom of heaven, right? It's like you have to sell this idea. And that's a part of the recruitment process. And this is why I'm going live today, because I understand that the recruitment process is still current. It's still going. Because when you're saying things like, oh no, we're a family, that sounds very friendly, right? Very lighthearted. And somebody that is lacking that, or is looking for that, wants that, and they want to grab hold to that. But that is a lie. Carbonation is not a family. Nature Boy is not a family man. Bishop is not a family man. This is not a family. And I can attest to that. Somebody who was in the cult for 5 years, we were not a family. We called each other, family is frequency. We eat together, we pray together, we sleep together. Yes, we family. But family does not do the things that we did. Okay. Family don't hit each other. Family doesn't abuse each other emotionally, physically, emotionally, none of that. Family don't sleep with each other. All right, well, like, come on, don't do that. Family don't allow doesn't even allow people to do things within the family. They know that it's not right. They see it, but they say, okay, that person can do no wrong. This is not a family. But you see, Efra's educated, she's intelligent, and she knows she has to deny it being a cult, because that would mean she's in a cult. And no one that's in a cult really wants to admit that they're in a cult. But when I started hearing that, I was like, oh, they're trying to bait people in. Oh, we're a family. And she goes straight to, instead of addressing the fact that, is it a cult? She goes, oh no, we're a family. Bishop was living his life way before, he was living his life in that room alone. He set out on this journey alone. People came to follow him. That's not even what she asked. But she goes, oh yeah, he was out there in the room all by himself. I'm sorry, I'm so dramatic the way I'm reenacting. He was out there in the room. All she was out. He was out there in Atlanta in the room by himself. He set out on his own spiritual journey. People came to follow him and to live with him. And see, like me, that's what Everett was like. See, like me, and this is not verbatim, y'all, but this is what I remember. She was like, like me, I agreed with what he was saying, and you do have to make changes when you come into his life. She does use the word change. She's like, you got to change your diet. You got to cut the dye out of your hair. You got to go natural. And she talks about the things you have to change, but she only really talks about the diet and the hair thing, the natural life, like walking barefoot on the ground and stuff like that. Like I said, that's the same thing as referring to it as a family. You're using these selling points that people really can't debate much. Like, okay, so you got to change your diet and your hair. That's easy. Okay, so you got to be vegan and you just can't have a weave. Oh, well, that's not so bad. See, he wasn't harming nobody. But Efru, what you didn't mention was that you have to change your name. You absolutely cannot go by Kayla in that cult. That is a dramatic change to change your name. You can say it's your tribal name. You can say it's because of, you don't go by your straw man and you're against the system, all you want. But changing your name is a separation from your identity and who you are, who you were for 20 plus years of your life. All of a sudden, now you're Efru. All of a sudden, I was Sheba. That's a dramatic change. I mean, people to this day is still calling me Sheba. People to this day will not call me Kendra. Like, that's a dramatic change. There's so many people in this chat right now that didn't know me. Hold on, here comes Ja. Okay. There's so many people that knew me as Sheba before they knew me as Kendra. That's a dramatic change to change your name. So why didn't she mention that? Because that's dramatic. And I think, like, to answer your question, Lynette, do I think that they're conscious of the fact that they're dumbing themselves down to sell a lie? No, I think that what's happening is, I've seen it in other cults too, when studying other cults, is that, the ends justify the means. So it doesn't matter that they are omitting the truth, that they are not saying everything that is really going on within the group. It's okay that they are only using these selling points to bait people in. It's okay because you're leading people to their higher selves, apparently. You're leading people to the kingdom of heaven. Wait, Jaomi, I said if you're gonna sit here, you can't be loud, remember? Huh? I know. Okay, well, if you make a lot of noise, then you should probably go in your room to do it. Sorry, y'all. Well, I'm not sorry, but you know how it be. Hold on. Had to get child. No, playing. No, it's just like, I know that I'm gonna be talking about sensitive things and I don't want to, have children in the room. But he'll be okay. So, back to what I was saying. Yes, he always got something to say, girl. He always got something to say, and I love it. Like, I love that he's just being a kid and being free and being himself. And I'm like, we gonna do that. We gonna play. Right now, Mama's not playing with you. Okay. But back to what I was saying, about do I think that they are like purposely being deceitful, or know that they are dumbing themselves down to sell a lie? Like, I think what you were saying with that question is like, do they recognize that they're not saying everything that can be said about this group, about this cult? I I think that, like I said, like it's one of those things. I mean, we did so much propaganda within that cult to sell an idea, and I think that even though we knew that we weren't exactly like living this image, like we weren't living it out, we weren't really doing anything indigenous or natural for real, except for walking barefoot on the ground. We knew that we had to kind of present it that way because we wanted that's what we wanted for Black people. Like, we want Black people to be this, so we're gonna basically make a commercial to sell this to Black people, but we're not really living it. So it's interesting because what you're willing to do, I know, like in the Moonies, Dr. Steve Hassan, he was in the Moonies, uh, and he talks about how they would lie, like they would lie to people and say like, oh, if you buy this from us, you'll be donating to, poor children or at-risk youth or something. But really the money was going to the Moonies, and it's like you're okay with the lie because these people are giving to God. If you attract people to you, well, you're attracting people to God. So it's okay to be deceitful within a cult. So that's the best way I can explain it. I just thought it was interesting how I caught that. Like, I caught the fact that Efru talked about the diet and the hair. And I'm like, but Efru, we have not talked about diet and hair since like 2018, 2019. Like, carbonation is long past talking about diet and hair. At some point in Atlanta, Bishop was like, it don't matter what we eat because it's going into us. It's going into our DNA. So we transform into food. So we don't got to eat non-GMO. We can eat whatever we want. Man, we was eating Fruit Loops, honey buns, all types of donuts and cookies. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I had a bowl of Apple Jacks. I mean, come on. We was eating whatever we wanted to eat. So it ain't about no diet. And he was definitely, before I left, talking about getting all the women weaves. Oh yeah, I want Malia to have long hair. Yeah, we gonna get him. He put weave into his own head. It ain't about changing your hair and diet, Efru, and you know that. But see, you're a salesman and you gotta sell the idea, and I feel you. But when do we say this is not okay? She didn't mention changing your name. That's a big change. She didn't mention how you definitely have to leave your children. You cannot take your children to carbonation with you. He uses that Bible verse. You cannot put anything before the kingdom of God. I don't know. There's a verse about separating mothers and daughters and children and parents. I guess I don't know the Bible verse, but he said it a lot. And yes, you can't bring your children with you. And we know that that is evident because Aya and Malia do not have their children. That's a huge, like, we're not going to brush past that. Like, that's just small. That's a huge, huge change. So if we're going to talk about change, Efru, what about that? Let's speak to that. You have to have no contact with your family or friends unless they are supportive. So if they express any critical thought or opinion towards you or the group, block them. They don't exist. They're in their lower self and they'll only try to pull you down. See, they won't say that on that live interview because they know people gonna look at them like, what? Y'all leaving y'all kids and y'all family and friends and all, man. I'm not with that. That's not a good selling point. So you can't use that to bait people in. You kind of you say that later on, like, you can't tell your family. When people start getting indoctrinated, then you kind of slip that in. You can't tell your family. Don't tell them what you're about to do. Just come out. You got to take your own spiritual journey, man. It's about you. You came through your mom. You ain't your mom's daughter. She not really your mom. She's a program. You came through her. Like, you can't just give that to somebody off the bat. You gotta kind of wait till they get indoctrinated a little bit and then start throwing that in there. Crazy. Oh, babe, before I Aaron, I'm about to make you a moderator because I'm not paying attention to the chat. Can I do that? Oh Lord, see, now I gotta figure out. Hold on, let me figure this out real quick. Thank you for sharing my live, Janae. I gotta figure out if I can make you a moderator real quick. Ooh, I can. Okay, yeah. You got the big M now. I don't know. I just made that up. Yeah, I know, Janae. I couldn't do it on oh yes. Where is she? All right, Janae, you a moderator too. The Gray family asked, did Malia and Aya talk about their kids and missing them? Oh, you talking about while I was there? Yeah. They did. Briefly. Because you get silenced when you do that. You can't talk about that. I remember specifically Malia getting in quote unquote trouble when she was looking at pictures of her son on Snapchat. When Bishop found out that she was still had access to her Snapchat because she wanted to see her son, he was livid. He was very upset about that. And he addressed it like, is my baby crying? Okay, no. He addressed it as if she was so out of line. Like, and basically she was like being dragged to her lower self because she couldn't stop thinking about her past. And he made it a big deal. And I don't know if she ever looked at her son again after that day. I remember, like, y'all seen on that one live when she was like, oh yeah, this is what he looks like. The only reason why she pulled up that picture is because he was talking about their sons in that moment. And she felt like, oh, it's safe to do so. But when I tell you, when that live went off, even before that live went off, he told you how he felt about other people's children. So no, they can't express out loud missing their children. And I know for sure, like, they couldn't really express it to me. I expressed to me that she was making a video and showed me the video that she was making to her son. She wrote a letter to her son to basically explain why she was in carbonation and hoping that he would understand her so-called mission in life. But I was definitely one of those people that would snitch on you. So it really expressed to me. I'd have been like, such and such is talking about their Babylon child. No, I probably wouldn't have did all that, but who knows? And yes, she was affected by his passing, BB. And but you're not allowed to grieve. You're not allowed to really show emotion in that cult. And I think there was an argument with Bishop when it came to that whole situation, because Malia wanted, I think one of her male cousins reached out to her and she asked Bishop permission to be able to speak to him. And he made a big deal like, why are you asking me permission to talk to him? That made me think you got something going on with your cousin. You like your cousin. Like, you must have a thing for your cousin. Like, he is weird. That man is where he belongs. Let me just say. But he snapped out on her when she asked him permission to talk to her cousin. So yes, that goes back to what I was saying. Yes, okay, you got to change your diet and your hair, but you also have to change your name. You have to leave your children. And look at how you have to deal with your family and friends. You got to ask him permission to contact your family member, to talk to your family member. Oh, but it's not a cult, and he's not a cult leader. That ain't. No, it ain't adding up, and we don't believe you. I'm sorry, like, and I'm talking to myself as a former cult member too, because like I said, I'd be sitting right next to them in that video. We don't believe you. Oh, and then you also forgot to mention, Efru, that you got to hand over your money. You don't have access to your own finances. Maybe now, they might feel a little bit more independent because they are, they have the finances in their own possession right now, as far as like they spend the money, but you still have to spend the money the way he wants you to spend money. So you don't have control over it. But for years, all the time I was there, I never had access to my own accounts. I had access to my Cash App at one point, but I remember like I got some money to my Cash App one morning, and the first thing I did was take it to Bishop, because I knew that if I didn't show him like I got this money, and he, like, I knew it was going to be a thing later on, because people were getting money to their personal Cash Apps, and it was a thing. It was a whole meeting about, why you making money on your own? Why you got your own money coming in? Oh, you want to buy your own food? It was a big deal. And I had a son, so I was like getting money to my Cash App from my family so I could get my son things. So me and Aaron could get job things for him, like his personal snacks, clothes, things that Bishop did not care about. But we had to move in a way where it was like, dang, like you feel guilty for having access to your own money, and for, wanting to spend it on things that you need and what's for you and what's best for you and your child. And so, yes, these things are not presented at the forefront of carbonation. They're not going to come out and say, hey, if you want to join carbonation, if you want to come out into Bishop's life, you need to leave your children, your family and friends behind, hand over all your money, change your name. The list goes on, and be ready to stand in the corner for 3 hours. You do not get that rundown. And if you would get that rundown, how many members would be over there? The ones even sitting over there right now wouldn't be over there if they would have known that they would have eventually been beaten, slapped, gotten their phone taken, gotten documents hid and taken from them, had to stand in the corner for 3 hours butt naked. They wouldn't have went over there if they knew that in advance that's what was going to be going on. They thought we was going to be growing food, and like Everett said, just changing my hair and changing my diet and walking barefoot on the ground. I know that's what I thought. I sure thought we was going to be at the waterfalls every day, just eating fruit off the trees. So all that stuff, they're still selling that dream. And I just thought, that's amazing. You're still selling that dream to people when y'all ain't touched the grass on your pinky toe in how many years? Y'all ain't touched a blade of grass. Y'all ain't planted one seed. And y'all definitely don't care about no hair because y'all Muslim now and y'all wearing head wraps. What are we talking about? Okay. Moving on. I just can see how deceptive cult members can be, and it's not their fault. When you understand how thought reform works, they really think they're doing something good. They really think that they're doing something beneficial for humanity. They really think they're leading people to the Christ. They're leading people to their higher selves. I get that. I was there. I get that. I was trying to do that too. I promise you. But it's called deception. And that's what I was saying when I said in the impact statement that I gave, yes, everybody said, okay, I'm gonna leave my life behind and I'm gonna go out here and join carbonation. Yes, that was on a willing, yes, they were willing to do that. But every last one of us was deceptively recruited. And therefore we were baited in. And then, like, I think like Rick Allen Ross said, it was a bait and switch. We were baited in to something. We thought it was going to be one thing, but we were served up something else. And it wasn't just like a off rip. It was like a gradual progression, almost undetectable. You really, if I could break down each day to you, I would, so that, you know, that would have been dope if I had like a camera on me the whole time. So you could see how it progressed over time. It wasn't just like, oh, switch. No, it was like, oh, we're family. Everything's cool. Everything's great. Yeah, you got to use, you know, we live like this, but you know, it ain't nothing. Oh, yeah, it ain't nothing. Okay. Now, oh, you know what, y'all? Here comes Bishop. You know what, y'all? I think we need to start implementing this. Oh, okay. That sounds cool. Yeah. All right. Somebody say, oh, I don't really like that. He's like, well, tell me something. This is Bishop. Tell me something. Did I come out to see you, or did you come out to follow me? Did I seek you out, or did you seek me out? Have you confused, stuck for a minute? Like, especially if you're young and, you know, like there's certain things you got going on in yourself. You like, dang, I did come out here. Maybe I should listen to you. Dang, how long have I been doing this? See, I was out here before all of y'all, out here in Honduras, and nobody was out. You're like, dang, you was out here doing your thing. Okay, you might know a little something. Okay, so yeah, so who should you be listening to, me or you? Like, damn, you got a good point. You got a good point. You know what? Okay, let me hear what you got to say. And everybody's backing them up. 15, 20 people like, yeah, listen to him. You'd be surprised what social influence feels like in real time. It happens every day. I mean, if we weren't influenced individuals, if we weren't able to be manipulated, there would be no reason for commercials on television. There would be no reason for advertisements. You wouldn't need those things if people can't be swayed and people can't be manipulated. Come on. It is what it is. Oh yeah, let me make a couple more people moderators real quick, and then we'll move on. Cause I know how it be. It probably, dang, there's 124 people apparently here listening. That's what's up. Hey, what's up, y'all? I ain't even paying attention to the chat, so let me add some more people into the moderation team. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, BB, I'm about to make you a moderator. And I'm just going through seeing who okay, Vlog Lurker. Yep, I got you. So yes, I know y'all have questions and stuff. So let me see what questions y'all had dropped up in here. That's a good question. Somebody asked, WTF, as did your views change like Janae's once y'all got introduced to the conscious community and Sonnetter specifically? I think, well, I thought that was a good question. Are you referring to like at the beginning of like me before finding Bishop? I'm not sure. Maybe you can like explain your question again. I'm sorry, I'm not totally comprehending now that I think about it. Thank you. Thank you, PR 360. Mm, Libby Lou must have got. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, you got hidden. I don't know what you said. Thanks to Tamara. I see you. Thank you, BB. Okay, that Sonnetter interview was when I started paying attention because he was falsely teaching. Oh, you talking about like when we all went live on Sonnetter and he was like, no, my views didn't change after that. My views didn't change until about 5 or 6 months after physically leaving the cult. I mean, it gradually started to change once I got back to Washington and I was able to have space to critically think for myself. But it didn't totally change until I started becoming more educated about cults, what they are, how the like indoctrination process works, like what's brainwashing, what's thought reform, what are the characteristics of these things. And I started to, I think I already wanted to, like, I was open minded. That's what really changed for me is I was no longer closed off to what Bishop says is the end all be all and no information outside of him is relevant. I was past that point. I would say in around September 2022. I was like, maybe what he says is not the absolute truth. So I was already open to receiving information outside of him. And then that's when I started researching cults and learning more about them. The first thing I researched was brainwashing because I had heard that for pretty much all of my years beginning carbonation. Y'all are brainwashed. Y'all are brainwashed. So I said, let me look it up. All of a sudden, right, I have the time and the space to. And there it was. It was talking about isolation, repetition. I realized that I had been away for so long in these foreign countries, just with this man in this group, isolated. I didn't go out to socialize with people outside of the group. I didn't have long phone conversations with anyone outside the group. I didn't have a job, where I could go out and just meet other people anywhere at any point in time. So all I knew was this group. This had became my reality. And then repetition, I mean, that's what you see now and what you've always seen is us repeating a certain doctrine over and over again. And they call it divine knowledge of self. They call it morals and principles. They call it these things, but really it's just thought-stopping cliches. And thought-stopping cliches are just like what they exactly how it sounds. They are cliched phrases that allow you to stop. You can use to stop like your own authentic thoughts. So, for instance, when Efru was asked, about it being a cult, she says, "Oh no, we're a family because family is frequency." That's a thought-stopping cliche. So she doesn't want to accept that it's a cult. So she stops that thought by saying family and family is frequency. That family is frequency saying is a thought stopping cliche of carbonation. So that's how that go. Thank you guys. Oh yes, thanks for putting Rick Allen Ross's website in there. Thanks, Atmosphere. That's a big red flag, Blair. If you are not able to accept outside opinions, when I tell you like living life today, where I'm at today, I am so thankful and grateful to be around people from all different walks of life, backgrounds, opinions, political views, religious views, just people that are different from me because I spent 5 years around people who just I mean, it was just an echo chamber. Chief says this, Chief says keep the knowledge. You got to keep the knowledge because because if you ain't keeping that knowledge, you ain't it's like, oh my goodness. Just stop. And that's why some people, you would just see them like spaz out, like go crazy. Like, I'm tired of hearing these things because it's some BS in your soul. But at the same time, your soul is being suppressed. Your authentic being and thoughts are being suppressed. So it's like you kind of get wear down to where you're just like, fine. But being out here in the real world, being able to be in reality and talk to different people, it's such a blessing because I don't have to agree with you. I don't need you to agree with me. I'm just happy we're here and we're alive. And it's a beautiful thing. There's so much beauty in a difference of opinion and having an open mind and not needing to be right or being open to learning. I think that's a big red flag and issue. If you want to know somebody is a cult member, they know the truth and everything else is a lie. That's a red flag. Like I heard F-Root say, y'all want us to separate. Y'all want us to go back to the lie. Why is anything separate from Bishop, Aya, Malia, and whoever else y'all got in y'all cult? Why is separating from them just automatically a lie? That already is a red flag and should let you know that you're in a cult, because you know everything. Like, that's scary. You know everything? Oh, for real? Like, Bishop used to say all the time, like, oh yeah, ask me any question, I have the answer to it. That's a red flag. If somebody think they know everything, that's a big red flag. And he would always say, yeah, I don't know everything, I just know I am everything. Like, no. But the gag is, whenever a question was asked or whenever anybody felt like they had a problem or whatever, he swore that he had the ultimate answer and every other answer was a lie. And so Aya, Efru, all these people that are in his cult, Jax, Juju, they can't accept any outside information at all. It's a lie. What? Scary. Hold on, y'all. I'm back. What y'all did y'all yeah, I'm talking, but I ain't checked in with y'all. What y'all feeling like? Let's see. Janae said Kendra was the perfect example in carbonation. That's why she was praised for being the most poised. A lot of times I was praised, and I think it was because I was the most obedient. Um, I guess you could call it poised in the cult, but it was like I figured it out. I was like, if you just agree, if you just agree and you smile, oh my gosh, you can like be invisible. Like I just tried to be as invisible as possible. Hold on. Okay, there we go. But that sounds crazy, right? Because you'd be like, why would you do that to yourself? Like, but I just figured it out. I was like, man, if you just do everything you're supposed to do, get up, cook, cook for 15 people, put it on a plate, serve it up pretty, give it to them smiling. You can literally get out, like get out of his face, and he won't have nothing to say. Hopefully he doesn't spit the food out and be like, this shit is nasty. But other than that, I felt like I just figured it out. I'm like, I just kept looking at Malia and Zoga. I'm like, y'all just get it together. Just don't have an attitude. How hard is it? How hard is it to just act like you happy? Just act like it. Just smile. I used to be so mad at them, and it's not funny. I'm laughing because I'm making a joke right now, but it's not funny because when things were happening, when they were being abused, I was blaming them. I was blaming them just like I'm sure they blamed themselves, and like I'm sure they still do. I was blaming them instead of looking at how he was an abuser and a predator and a destructive cult leader. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying right now, and I'm on this live right now, because for so long I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything about it. And that's why I think he was able to do what he was doing for a long period of time, is because all of his victims, or I won't say all of them, but a lot of them were silent. And the people that did come out and say, hey, no, he hurt me, he's done these harmful things to people, we demonized them and we made it seem like they were crazy and like, oh, they just was mad because he didn't want them. They try to, how they try to flip it. Oh, she was mad because Bishop didn't want her. Girl, I was trying to be invisible. I didn't want nobody to want me. I was trying to be the wall. If I just blend into this wall and don't nobody see me, I think I'll make it out alive. I don't want nobody to want me. I used to be mad when he used to see me. I'd be like, shit. So, y'all reaching with that one. Nah, Coco. I didn't never heard that, but he probably ain't lying. What's up, Jaja? Any other time you don't even want to be bothered with me. Give me a hug. I love you. You want to say something?
Yeah.
What you gonna say? Okay.
Want to play a game.
You wanna play a game?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm back once again. I'm telling you, Janae, see? She's like, you sure did want to be the wall. Exactly. Janae was like, you gotta shine. Come on, Kendra, shine. You're a star. I was like, no, I'm the wall. Like, I'm not getting slapped, hit, or nothing today. I am the wall. Leave me alone. As soon as you try to be cute and come out here, you want to say you trying to do something. And I remember one time I took a shower. I'm like, I just took a shower and put a wrap on. Oh, you trying to impress somebody? I'm just what? Like, I swear I wanted to be invisible. I swear I wanted to be invisible. I noticed you smiled when slapping someone. Was that to hide your feelings about it? Were you just going through the motions? Like I said, I smiled because that's what so y'all didn't ever see me get slapped on camera, right? I did get smacked. Yes, I have got beat. Within that cult, yes, I did experience physical abuse. But when I tell you, when he was telling us to do all that up, down, do all that, I used to be in drill team. I used to do cheerleading. I'm used to, being instructed. I did dance lessons. I did all that stuff. Oh, you up, left, right, up, down, left, right. Okay. Then I'll do it with a smile because I don't want to be smacked. And I don't want to hear this dude's mouth. So yeah, I did it with a smile. People just, I think I fooled myself and thought I was happy. Thank you, Carla. I'm thankful that we and other members made it out too. That is such a blessing. And I think about it every day because even though there's still people inside of the cult, I think about other people that made it out, and it's a beautiful thing. Yes, I wanted to avoid attention, King Birdie. That's exactly right. I ran from the camera. He used to be like, why you always running from the camera? You don't want to be on camera. Because I know as soon as I get on camera, if I say the wrong thing, just like the other girls, I observe people. I'm like, no, bro. See, every time you get on the camera, you slip up and say something wrong. I'm not standing in the corner for 3 hours. I'm not doing it. Yeah, but I will say all those punishments, all of those consequences were not justifiable. So even though I did my best to avoid them, that doesn't mean that, and I was successful some of the time, that doesn't mean that, oh, well, that justifies it. Maybe the other women should have just fell in line and did what you did. No, nothing constituted, I don't know if that's the right word, nothing justified that abuse. It didn't. That man is sick for doing that to any of us, regardless of what any of us had done. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm so far off of my paper. I got my notes here. We on a whole nother topic. Not a whole nother topic, but we on a sidebar. It is sad that people support the abuser, but that's why we need these counter narratives, right? And I think we're doing a good job, and I think we'll continue to speak up and speak out about these predators and these destructive cult leaders and these abusers, people who really have no regard for human life, and they're really just not decent human beings, and they belong where those people belong. Period. Thank you, BB. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's been a long, I've wanted to talk about these things for a long time, but I always felt like, oh, am I qualified? Am I, there's a lot of people who have tried to bully me off the internet. Not gonna lie. But it really, I think it was y'all's support and just like my own inner courage, to do it. But a lot of the support that I've gotten has really moved me. It has really moved me. And it's not in no superficial way of like, oh, you doing this for people, or, because the cult members will make it seem like, so the demons made you do it. Like, no, everybody was affected by this. People that were watching, people that were commenting, content creating, all these people were affected by it. People that were in it, like myself, we were affected by it. And who is anyone to tell us we can't tell our story and we can't tell our side? And what I'm doing is I'm bringing in the facts of the matter of what we have out here as research when it comes to cults. Because there's research out here and we need to be educated about it. I know I'll educate my child about it, and I will love to educate other people about it, or at least expose people to the education. I don't think I'm at a level of authority or anything, but I do think that my experience really can help people and impact people. And it's been almost 2 years. So I've been silent for a long time. And that time is over. That's done. We waited, oh my gosh, I'm sure Janae, we waited so long, that whole trial, that whole almost 2 years we had to wait and not say nothing. While they got online, they blasted, old videos of me, putting my name on it and my face out there, even though the judge told them not to. All that stuff. And now you want me to be silent? Nah, because I love you too much. Like Bishop used to say, nah, because I love you. No, I really want to see those women and the rest of the cult members free. I do. I want to see their freedom day. I want to see the day where they get to hug their babies again. I want to see the day where they get to have meaningful, fulfilling relationships with people. Everybody that they want to have a relationship with, they're able to. I want to see the day where they can explore their own mind and their own passions and, impact the world in their own way and not be so dependent on this person that says they're God. Hey, Lisa. Y'all, Lisa says what motivated me to come on here today, y'all. She motivated me in a way I don't think she knew. So I appreciate you, Lisa. What's up, Solar? I appreciate your support. I be laughing because I be teasing you because you be crazy. I'm just playing. You're not crazy. But there's a lot of people that think that. But I've tried to not base my opinion off people based off of what other people say so much, but more of just my experience with them and, facts. So. Oh, thank you, BB. Thanks. For real, Young? You've been watching for years? That's what's up. He is big now. He's super tall. I'd be like, oh my goodness. Hey, midwife. Thank you. Exactly, Monty. What's up, Dave? Thank you. Dang, y'all been watching for years. What's up, Mojo? Said, I've been watching for years. That's what's up. Yeah, for real. Shout out to Janae. It's always going to be shout out to Janae. That's a hashtag. Gemini, no. When he was saying, are you happy? I wasn't smiling. I was like, this man is crazy. If I didn't think he was crazy before, I know he's crazy now. Oh, thank you, Tamara. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that everybody, like cult members, I don't think they ever can fully suppress their authentic self. Like, you have to try to do it every single day. It's like it becomes like a internal battle every single day to do it. And so, the real you shines. When you see Kayla, or, as she calls herself, Efru, when you see her singing those little poetry things, and painting and vibing, like, that's really her. She's really a dope individual like that. And she shines through even that cult persona. When you see Aya doing her thing, you know, she shines through. Malia too. Zoka's a star for real. Like, and they shine through in those cult personas, but they have to know that they don't have to suppress that. That's not the devil. Now, Bishop will tell you that's the devil. You wanting to be your own person is the devil. He told me when I told him on the phone that I was done with him and I wanted to trust my own mind. He told me, "Oh, you want to go back to white supremacy? You want to go be the white man's wife?" No, that's not what I said. I said I want to go follow my own mind. But see, he thinks that women following their own mind is following white supremacy's mind. Like, and there's people that believe that out there. He's not the only one. There's people that believe that like all black women are filled with white supremacy and they're just the devil, you know, like, but look, think about how much self-hatred you got to have inside yourself. He talks about self-hatred and black people hating themselves. But how much self-hatred does Bishop have to have inside of himself to think that black women are devils? And he literally got black women, myself included at one point, saying, "Oh yeah, all black women are being used as weapons against the black man. We're some demons." He had me thinking I was like inherently a devil. And he got Evru definitely thinking that. Because she's quick to say that. Oh yeah, all this is just, you know, black woman being used as a weapon against the black man. That's what this is. How much self-hatred you gotta have inside yourself to be telling black women that they are the devil? What that make you? Because but he swear he's God. Like, what? Oh, yeah. So I'm just here to, you know, do what Bishop was so afraid of everybody leaving his so-called life, everybody leaving his cult would do, is I'm gonna air you out. I'm gonna air you out. Because I seen you. And I faced you in that courtroom. I told Aaron about over a year ago. I said, this was before I even knew I was going to be a part of the trial. I was like, I feel like one day I'm going to look him in the eye and say, it was him, Your Honor. Like, yes, and to your face. So, you know, I seen you. I saw what you did. I know what you did to me now. I'm no longer protecting you. I recognize what you did to me. Yes, I may not have came forward before because I didn't realize that what was happening to me was definitely exploitation and violation and abuse. But now that I know, well, you said proclaim it with due emphasis. That's what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna do a quick pivot back to the interview so we can examine this a little bit more. And y'all can go see the interview on your own time if you ever so feel like it. But I know for a lot of y'all, it's like womp, 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 womp. It's hard to sit there and listen to them talk, especially when you know that's not really what they're saying, like what's behind what they're saying. So I think that I really want to break that down. So we talked about the beginning of the video, the beginning of the interview that Evru and Aya did with the lady on Instagram. Forgot her name again, but let me see where I want to go. Okay. So she talked about how family was frequency, right? And she said, when you go out into nature, you know, people are not going to get you anymore. Effrey was basically saying that, like, when you decide to go on your spiritual journey, people are going to, see you and they're not going to understand you no more. So you kind of got to, distance yourself. But I thought that was interesting because I don't think that that's true. I don't think that it was just like, oh, people don't get us, so that's why we can't associate with them. It was that, like, Eligo Bishop was a part of his doctrine was that there's a distinct separation from the so-called chosen people and the lower self individuals. And when you are chosen, you are, like, say, the black sheep of your family, right? And everybody in your family, you're so different from them, and you always seen life different from them. You've always been the odd one out. And so what that means is, because you never fit in, that means you're chosen, right? That's how he gets you in. Have you ever felt like, it's like one of those commercials, have you ever felt like nobody understands you? Like you're in a world where, people just don't get it. You've always been different. Yeah. Half the world. Yeah. Okay, well, you're chosen. And some people are like, okay, that's poop. But some people are like, oh, you might be right. So there was always a distinct separation from the chosen people and the lower self individuals. And he taught that you were to distinct that. Like, it's not like people just don't get you and therefore you don't talk to them no more. It was like, you don't need to talk to them or even tell them what you're doing or about to do because they're your lower self. They can't hear. They're blind. They're deaf. So I just thought that was interesting. Aya kind of briefly spoke on isolation. I've heard her mention isolation a couple times because I think that kind of rings true for her. I think that she kind of does understand, like, that we were isolated. But she doesn't want to fully admit that to herself because that would mean that there was thought reform going on. There was brainwashing going on. And so she speaks to that, but then she says, yeah, we were in these remote locations away from, 45 minutes to an hour away from society. Yeah, we were out there surrounded by jungle and trees and nothing else. Yeah, but everyone had their own phone and social media. But I was just like, you can't fool me because I was there. Some of us did not have our own phones. At one point in Panama, we were all sharing phones. I remember I was sharing a phone with Aaron. There was multiple other people who didn't have phones because we had just got raided in Mexico. They had taken our phones, and some of us did not have phones. Some people even got their phones taken. And also, for reasons of just like punishment. And also when it comes to social media, immediately when I got there, I had to change my social media name to in my bio that in something that was in agreement and mimicked the other members' bios. And I had to make sure I always added in the caption, reflected light from the most honorable, blah, 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 for the most honorable master teacher, blah, blah, blah. You had to write that. And if you didn't, somebody will call you out on it. When I first got there, I didn't do that because I didn't know that was a rule. And he called me into his into his office, into the room where he was in, and he was like, "Why don't you honor me? Why don't you honor your higher self? Don't you think that's a bit strange?" So, and I thought, dang, maybe that's a bit strange, but I think that you can't just say like, oh, it's isolation or it's not isolation because everyone has their own phone and social media when your social media account changes. And so therefore anything that you were connected to in your past, you can't stay connected to it. I remember like people reaching out to me and they knew based off my social media page that I was on some different stuff. And so they would reach out to me in a certain way and it would automatically create this distance between me and people that I knew and knew me. And it's just amazing how it just kind of happens that that separation happens. And it's not so much of like, oh, they don't get you, or, oh, well, you have your own social media, you can reach out to anyone you want to. That's not true. And in my first couple months of being there, I would say probably like 2 months of being there, um, Bishop felt like I was a mole and I was telling information to outside sources. And he took my phone and he went through it. He went through all my text messages, read every last one of them. He went through all my messages. He went through calls. Like, so right then and there, that says that you don't have control of your phone. Somebody is going to be clocking you. So hold on now. Before you try to smear the mirror, don't forget who was there. Okay, I was there. And by the way, some of these situations happened, before these said members were even there, so they really ain't aware. Let me stop. But like, I'm just speaking to my whole entire experience. And yeah, it's like you can't fool everybody all the time. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Now, another thing that I thought was super interesting, because of course they're doing this interview on Instagram yesterday because of the trial and how unfair they believe it is, and the sentencing, and how, people with, people that unalive people don't even get that much time, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, okay. The only thing I had to say to that is you were in the state of Georgia. The crimes that you committed, the crimes that you were charged with had a certain, y'all know what I'm trying to say. A certain minimum time that you would have to serve if you were found guilty of these crimes. So don't try to act like he's being treated so unfairly. Like only Bishop got this amount of time for doing this. Nobody else would have got it. If it was a white person, they wouldn't have had got it. No, like this is the sentencing. This is the sentence amount that you get when you do these crimes in the state of Georgia. If you don't want to do the time, you know what they say. Oh, so yeah. Oh, I'm gonna do that next. I'm gonna talk about that next. But I just, I think a lot of people catch this, but I'm gonna say it even so. The wife's interview, it was very soft. It was very soft, but I think that's the only way you can get an interview with them, is being soft. But what's so interesting is they always fail to address the evidence that was entered. They always say there's no evidence. There was no evidence. All they did was get people's testimony. There was no evidence. Hold up, swole up. That's what my mama used to say. Hold up, swole up. There was evidence because we all seen it. I'm starting to think that Efru and Aya didn't watch the trial. Did y'all watch the trial? If y'all watching this, did y'all actually watch the trial? Like, did y'all listen to every testimony and look at every piece of evidence that was presented for real? Did y'all see the DV expert in the will that she presented? Did y'all hear Rick Allen Ross? I don't know if y'all heard that part. Also, did y'all see the 2 videos that were presented of your God, your husband, your friend, your what? I don't even know what he is to you anymore. Did y'all actually see the video and listen to the videos that were presented of him? There was 2 videos that he recorded himself, and it being free, mind you. This is before he got arrested. He was free. So this is just his free thoughts, what he's saying. He ain't under no pressure. He's just saying his own thoughts. He said he was God and everything belonged to him and everybody was in his mind. 1. 2, he said he feels like he can take it from anybody, any woman. It don't matter. He can take it. He don't know why dudes is out here asking for stuff when they can just take it. Why are dudes asking for permission from a woman? You could just take it. He said it out his own mouth. That is evidence. I'm not sure if you don't understand that or not, and maybe you just don't want to, but that is evidence. And it was entered as evidence. And the videos were of him. So it wasn't hearsay. Efru, you keep talking about hearsay. Hearsay this, hearsay that. It was hearsay. Girl, no. Let's look at the definition of hearsay. That's how they be. Hold up. No, for real. Let's look up the definition of hearsay. Because she swear everything is hearsay. Hearsay. I want to read it the way it's actually presented in the dictionary. Because hearsay is defined as the report of another person's word by a witness, which is usually disallowed as evidence. So it's information received from other people, which cannot be substantiated, right? So it's a rumor. The evidence that was presented of Bishop talking in those videos as Bishop, he's himself in the video, that's not hearsay. It's also not hearsay when I get on the stand and tell my testimony. That's not hearsay because I'm not talking about what someone else said. I'm not talking about a rumor. I'm talking about something I experienced, something that happened. That's not hearsay. She said this whole case is hearsay. How, Sway? That's what I got to say to that. How? Because yes, you try to get up on the stand and say something that was hearsay. I heard her say, you can't say that because you could easily lie about what somebody else said. I mean, you could lie about what you said too, but they can't allow that in the court. It's not allowed. It's not allowed in the court of law. Usually is what it says right here in the dictionary, which is usually disallowed as evidence in the court of law. You cannot do that. So when you see those videos being presented of him talking as himself, that's not hearsay. That's actually him talking as himself. That's evidence that he would do something to the caliber of this crime. That is evidence of that. When you hear him on the interrogation tape saying, she said no, but you know, because that's how we try to spin it. She said no, but you know how it be. Like, no, she said no. No means no. That is evidence. That's not hearsay. Because guess what doesn't make that hearsay? She said no. He said she said no. We can assume she said no. And here's the thing. The judge was not in charge of finding Bishop guilty. The witnesses on the stand were not in charge of that either. The prosecution were not in charge of that either. A jury of Bishop's peers found him guilty. Insert Law and Order music. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I can't use my notes. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. This whole case is hearsay. Dun, 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 dun. I can't use my notes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I'm about to drop the link, y'all. But there's one other part of one more part of the of this interview I want to talk about. It might be one or two more parts. But oh my gosh, I just can't. She said you and Aaron. No, y'all thought Aaron was funny. I'm the funny one. He gets his jokes from me. So I'm just playing. Yeah, I can't use my notes. I promise you, I'm gonna be saying that forever. Like, I don't know when the next time I'm gonna take a test, like somewhere, but I swear I'm just gonna say that out loud. Like, I can't use my notes. Cause I don't even care if nobody gets it. It's just funny to me. Oh yeah, Tamara. I'm sorry. I think you probably pronounce it as Tamara. I get you. I feel you. It is something. But shit, they be laughing at me. Let me stop. No, I'm not petty, but no, I get it. Like, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I get it. Said she had a book. I'm done. Y'all just be crazy. So yeah, if anybody wants to come up, you're welcome to. I'm just gonna finish just going through some of this interview here. One thing I really liked that this interview addressed, even though she was really soft with her approach, I was like, when she asked this question, I was like, yeah, plant the seed, drop the seed, because she said, and she worded it in a way where it was like a drawn out question, but I think she was just trying to, put the fillers in there so that they wouldn't get triggered. She was like, she's like, I was watching and it seemed like y'all were really pampering him, treating the black man well. I loved that. I loved how it was like changing the tune of basically how we treat black men. Whoop de whoop whoop. And she said, but did you guys ever think that like Bishop had some trauma that he wasn't addressing? Basically, she asked. And Aya says, oh no. Not word for word, but she's like, no, he's healed. He has healed, he has healed. I think she said, he has healed most of his trauma. And that's something that Bishop said from day one. He always felt like he had healed all of his demons. Excuse me. He always said that he was at the point of his journey of his life where now it was time for him to help people, right? That's what I remember when I was there. He would say like, I'm here to help people. Like, I've already overcame all my demons. I made it to the mountaintop. And it's funny because Aya says that. She's like, he was at the top of the mountain. That's how you know he healed all his demons. Girl, he was in an Airbnb. You don't have to heal all your demons to get an Airbnb at the top of the mountain. And yes, I'm throwing a lot of shade tonight or this afternoon, but so you do not have to come on. You ain't got to be healed to go to Costa Rica. You don't got to be healed to go into Honduras with a backpack on and say, I'm free. I'm not living in America no more. You don't got to be healed to get your passport stamped. Or in his case, to just not get it stamped and just stay in Costa Rica without getting stamped till you get kicked out. You don't have to be healed to do that. So when she said that, it's like she's literally inserting these thought-stopping cliches or these things that Bishop himself has said that identifies him as being healed. The fact that he left the system, the fact that he was on the mountaintop and people came to live with him, the fact that he studied his birth chart, therefore he's healed all his demons. No, none of that stuff means you've healed all your demons. But she goes on to say that no, see, what he was doing was he was saving other people. And you see those people that he was trying to save, they would get crazy and they would yell and say F you and hit him. Basically try to paint this picture of Bishop was getting abused by his followers. And we all know that's a lie. The lie detector been determined that's a lie. They love to use that one video of him being hit after this person was trying to escape. Like, she was trying to escape. What was she supposed to do? They love to use that video. But she goes on to say, like, when he tried to heal their trauma, that's when they would get and then they would get irate. But she never talks about what did Bishop do when he was triggered. Like, because people in the group weren't the only people that would get upset. Most of the time, anybody who would get upset was after the fact that Bishop would be upset. So my question is, like, how did Bishop react, Aya? Because we cannot honestly say that he was just sitting on the top of the mountaintop in his, meditation pose saying, oh yes, come to me, I am healed, I will heal you of all your troubles. And then once you see yourself and you're like, oh no, I don't like what I see, this isn't good. And he was like, oh, it's not like he was just sitting there like, oh, you'll figure it out, or oh, I'll give you the keys. No, punishments were in place. Initially, it was just like, okay, you got to do squats, or you need to go write. I remember he had me write out sentences. That was back in Mexico. He was, I think he probably took that from his childhood trauma of having to do that probably, but he had me write out sentences. And see, I thought it was a good thing because he said that I was a pessimistic person and I needed to write over and over again, I will be optimistic. And so I was like, okay, I'll write it. And I wrote it over and over again. But fast forward to Atlanta, he had Zoka write, I will be obedient to whatever he was calling himself at that time, over and over again on a piece of paper. Like probably over 100 times had to write that. So that's my question. How did he react? And what did he react in a way that said that he was healed from his trauma? How in the world can you be healed from your trauma but use a leather belt to whip somebody over and over again? Because apparently they're not healed. So no, you can't make that make sense to me. You could fool some of these people that have not heard about the things he's done and who he is. But you and I both know, Aya, that if you were to serve Bishop a plate and he didn't like what was on that plate, he was liable to knock you upside your head. And he has. And I've seen it. So that doesn't sound like somebody that's healed to me. Efru chimed in and she was like, yeah, it's people who have to deal with their trauma. Okay, it's the other people that need to deal with their trauma. In other words, they're like, it's us that have to deal with our trauma. He doesn't have to deal with his trauma because he's healed. He's innocent. And she says that again, he's innocent. And it's funny because we used to say that all the time, like, he can do no wrong. He can do no wrong. Even our mom made a song, Can't Do No Wrong, because we said it so much. And so that's the thing with cult leaders, y'all, is it's never their fault. They never can do any wrong. That's how you know you got a cult leader on your hands or a narcissistic person on your hands. They are never at fault. Even when they say I'm sorry, it's like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. It's never, I'm sorry. It's like, I'm sorry that people keep turning their back on me. Like, it's never, I'm sorry because I genuinely know I hurt somebody. And that's why he was sentenced so severely, like, because he showed no remorse. But they always say, and I remember he got mad at me when he called in from jail, back when I was still at the Arbor Chase house. He was like, you don't stand up for me. You don't protect me. Like, you don't get online and say good things about me. He gets upset if you don't go online and say, like, he's not an abuser. Like, he often wanted us to go online and combat a lot of the things that content creators were saying. Like, be like, he's not doing anything. He wouldn't hurt a fly. He doesn't do anything to anybody. So that's exactly what they're doing right now, is they're protecting their abuser as he has instructed, which is very sad, because I think that once they stop doing that is when they'll finally have, room to offer themselves some grace and love and protection and know that, like, they didn't deserve what happened to them. It's very hurtful. I think, like, the reason I can joke about things now and talk about it the way I do is because I was, you know, in a space back in 2022 when I decided to, when I critically thought myself out, I was feeling very betrayed. I was feeling like, dang, I thought this person really cared about me and wanted to help me and all of us. But turns out this person was really just abusive. So you telling me everything I went through, like him stomping on my face and telling me it's because of my ancestors, like that was for real abuse. That was just out of like him being malicious and him being evil. Like it didn't have nothing to do with my ancestors. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, like, and that sounds crazy, but when you're in it, it's like you want to believe that this person does have your best interest somewhere, or that it will get better, and it will be, you'll grow, and you won't get these consequences anymore, and you'll feel better. And you just blame yourself. And when I realized, like, damn, this was like, these things really happened to me, it took me understanding what coercion was, and I was like, damn, like that's happened to me so many times, and it's just like I didn't know. And so when they come to reality and they look at their experiences with Bishop in a critical way, they'll be like, dang, why he beat me up though? Like, he said it was because I did something wrong and I believed him, but that's not true. He beat me. He's a grown man and he beat me, and I was defenseless and I couldn't do nothing. And mind you, everyone was there. And it hurts, bro. It feels like, like I felt like I was tearing something out of me, like separating myself, because admitting that he was not the Messiah, admitting that he was not this guru that I had in my mind, was like, what the fuck was that then? And it's a hard place to be, man. And I'm laughing at it now, but that's only because I've taken the time to really grieve that, and be depressed about that, be sad about that, be all the emotions about that. And it's still sad. And I think I'm more sad now for the day they have to go through that, because I know what it feels like. So yeah. And that just brings me to the last thing I'm going to talk about with the interview that I watched last night with Efru and Aya. Aya said that because the interviewer mentioned that, like, this is a tough subject, this is triggering stuff, like we're talking about abuse here and stuff. So she was just like giving that warning out, and she was basically saying, like, we're not trying to offend anybody or anything like that, which I thought was interesting. And I was like, yeah, we wish the best for everyone in this situation. And I thought, wow, she said that. But this is what I'm saying, y'all, like, goes back to what I said in the beginning. You will say anything to justify the end game goal. Like, she'll say that knowing dang well they don't really mean that. They don't really wish anybody well in this situation. Like, they don't wish us well. Because we stood up against their Messiah. They don't wish us well. But they'll say that because it makes them sound like they're evolved. They are of a higher caliber, or they are enlightened. And that what attracts people who say, wow, look at them. They're being the bigger person. They are carrying themselves well. So they don't really have any malice in their heart. But then you go to their page and you see a smear campaign of everybody that testified. So it's like, wait a minute, which one is it? I thought you wished the best for us. It's interesting. But yes, Afro does mention that this whole case was just to destroy the black man's spirit. And that I wrote down because I think it's very interesting how cult leaders, not just cult leaders, but I think a lot of predators are like philosophers, and they push this. Well, I heard that. I'm not going to say I feel like that. I heard somebody say that about their experience with a predator or with multiple predators. This person was like preyed upon a lot as a child. And one thing that she said that stood out to me, she said, she was like, I started to realize there was a pattern with these predators. They were all like philosophers. And I was like, wow, that's very interesting, because that's what I noticed about Bishop is he always philosophized something. He always made something this like thing that he made it seem like you couldn't comprehend. It's so beyond reality, right? When something can just be logically and simply explained. Like, no, this whole case is not to destroy the black man's spirit. That's a philosophical way of thinking about it, but that's not true. This whole case was about somebody that was assaulted, pressing charges against the person that assaulted them, and then a jury of his peers reviewing evidence and testimony and his own words, his own interrogation, to then say, we think he's guilty. That's what happened. This was not about destroying the black man's spirit because he's a leader in the community who has knowledge. But that's a philosophical way of thinking about it, though. And I understand why he would choose that narrative, or why they would choose that narrative, because it allows them to keep the philosophy going that he is their higher self. This is heaven. This is the kingdom of heaven. This is this thing that people just can't comprehend. You know, black people just can't comprehend that we are just these magnificent chosen beings. We're these gods walking here on earth. Whew. It's not that grandiose. Like, it's really not that. It can be simply and logically explained what happened here. This is not about all black men. This is not about all black women. This is not about all white people. It's not that big of a deal. Like, this is really just about a cult leader, a destructive cult leader that was brought to justice. So, and it's about the victims of this destructive cult leader getting that justice. All right, y'all. But yeah, that's me. That's just the breakdown of that interview. That's I think that's all my notes I had written down. Yep, got to everything. I really enjoyed that. I really like, there's something about learning about cults and kind of just unpacking all of the things that happen within cults, especially just like from my experience of being inside of one. And I really appreciate the education of it. I think it really helps me understand what happened. I think it'll help somebody else. I think even one day it'll help those women understand what happened to them. You know, I think that even if they can like see that really truly, and if they're ever listening to this, like, really truly, I'm not making fun of you. You know, I think that one second. I'm not making fun of you. I'm not interested at all in exploiting you or humiliating you. You've already had enough of that. I'm really looking forward to the day when you're free, like I said before. So yeah, it's not that. I don't think anybody wants to come up, but I'll drop the link just in case. And if you have any questions before I head out, let me know. I'll see if I can get to it. Thank you guys. Thank you, the Gray family. Thank you, Vlog Lurker. Thanks, Coco. Andy. All right, you too. No problem, Day. Yes, humor is healing. Lisa, I agree. Andy, yes, he was a scammer. And that's what co-leaders are. They're scammers. And the cult members are like car salesmen, they're trying to sell the car. Andy, philosophy is hard on the mind. Yeah. All right, let's see. Hey.
Hi. My name is Miss Day.
Hi, Miss Day.
And how are you? I just wanted to say I'm so glad that you and your family got out of that situation. You guys are a beautiful family together. I
Oh, I
also
appreciate.
wanted to, oh, yeah. I wanted to mention because even within the cult, like, um, you can tell how you and Aaron had love for each other. Even in those RNM moments, like where he was leading you guys to say you weren't happy in y'all situation. You know what I'm saying? You could tell that he was manipulating you guys to be like, you weren't a happy family. But you could clearly tell when things were that he would say would bother you or would bother Aaron, and y'all would kind of laugh like uncomfortably. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like he always created scenarios like that. Like he would just make up a situation just for views. I just did not like that. But you could clearly tell that Aaron had love for you and you had love for him. And I think when anybody was loving on each other, that's where he would throw a monkey wrench in the scene.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see you said it, and I really think that that's there's a lot of truth in that what you said, because like me and Aaron realized like we really do love each other. I mean, we knew that before, but it was like he used to speak this negativity over our relationship all the time. Like if y'all were to leave here, she wouldn't respect you, and she would, and he would tell all couples this, not just me and Aaron. But since we've left the code, those things have not been evident in our lives. Like so, it's amazing. And I think that's another reason why it's like I don't want to silence myself, because I want, even like the current cult members to realize like, no, life can be good outside of this. It's not what he's told you it is. It can be good outside of this. You can have the life that you desire to have. Um, One thing you said was like about the views, like he would do it for views. And I was just like thinking, I'm like, he did not care. Like it was not about the views. Yes, he cared about views, but we could have had views just being a happy relationship, like having happy relationships. We could have got views. It was about him having control and power over us and manipulating us to do what he wanted us to do. And
Oh, for sure.
yes, it's just crazy that somebody would do that. But yes, like thank you though for speaking that positivity onto us. I appreciate that so much.
Oh, no problem. That's all I wanted to say. You guys are beautiful and keep speaking out if that's your therapy. You know what I'm saying? If you want to clear some things up or you just want to speak out on whatever comes to your mind, don't let people hush you up. This your time, you free, you do whatever you want. Love to you and that baby Ja and your husband Aaron. Y'all are beautiful.
Thank
That's it.
you. I appreciate it. Okay, she said, don't let them hush you up. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Um, what are your thoughts on Malia? Okay, good question. I think that there's two things that could be going on, or there's three, or there's other things too. I know a lot of people think something's not right. She's probably sick, or she's probably something, it's just something's not right. Because why isn't she on the camera? Why are they not talking about her? Um, on the other hand, I think it could just simply be that Malia is too emotional to be on camera. She is not as composed as the other two, Aya and Efru. So when it comes to being on the camera, being live is a big deal for Bishop and the cult members. Like because they're trying to keep this perfect image. So if you have Malia come on and she starts getting emotional in ways that kind of make them seem crazy, okay, like it's already looking crazy online. We don't need Malia coming in here making things looking crazier. So kind of keep her in the background. Let the more I would say just like emotionally balanced, like they're able to kind of answer questions without getting too, emotional about it. They're able to like stick to those key phrases and the doctrine that their cult leader has given them. They're able to stay on the script. And Malia is kind of not like Malia and Zoko were always in that category of if you allow them to talk, like he would always say, like they just kind of can start making people look at us a certain way because they don't get the message across as clearly. So I think Malia is just kind of not in the frame because, one, she's the queen. She doesn't have to be. She's the queen. She's the queen. Ain't no queen. Ain't no castle. Ain't no kingdom. But yeah, so she's their queen though. And she doesn't have to be. That's not her duty. That's not her job. It's not her role. She's just like a face, basically. We were actually, when it came down to like the carbonation thing, like, we had the flag and he would talk about how like Malia's face would be like the coin, like the money. It would be like she's just the face. He would say that just to attract people because she's beautiful. So he doesn't really, he likes to hush Malia. So, and she's been abused the most. So you can imagine the emotions going on inside of her. And when it comes to like presenting an image to the public, you don't want that. I think that's what's going on truly, but it could be some other things that we don't know about. I don't know. I believe that she had like out of the ladies that are there, yeah, she was abused the most. Definitely. For a fact. Thanks, Janae. I appreciate that. But I don't know, Andy. Where's Malia? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying what I think. I don't really know. Oh, Cherry Berry. I just got on YouTube today, but you can rewatch this. You can replay this, and no one really knows what's going on exactly. Uh-oh, what's baby doing? Thanks, Lisa. All right, y'all. What happened? Okay. I'll charge it. I'm sorry. Okay, time to eat.
No. I want to.
Why you don't want to eat though? That's weird. Okay, I think that's it because I gotta go feed my child. And I think that was good. That's a wrap for today. Appreciate everybody coming through. I'll talk to you guys soon. And much love.
Hey yo, if you enjoy this content, please support the channel at. And don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms, especially Rumble, because I can put content on there that I can't put on YouTube. So please support that. I will put my beacon link in the description box. That way you can follow me on all social media, Discord, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. You can follow me wherever. Please support the movement. CV Killer forever.